Today we're going to talk about something that's super cool and you can get it right now. Hey everybody, this is Matt and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching. So a couple of months ago you might have seen a video where I teased a new product to make truss rod installation as easy as possible with tools that are easy to source from like the local home center. In fact, we're going to get to that. And that is something that we have been calling Matt's Sweet Truss Rod Jig. There you go. Okay. Now this is in its final production form and you can buy it right now. Let me tell you something, guys. We've been using the same truss rod for many, many years, and we're going to talk about that in this video. We're also going to talk about this jig and why it is my all-time favorite way to install truss rods. So let's just jump right into it, and if I haven't convinced you that you need to buy this jig by the time it's done, well then there's just no convincing you, because this tool is super, super cool. This video again is just going to be kind of an overview of what the jig does and what it doesn't do. And when you buy the jig, you'll get a link to an actual video on exactly how to use it and some pointers and pro tips and things like that that will make life easier. We're not going to give that away. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. We have been using the same truss rod for over a decade now, and it's this one here that we get from our good friends at Bitterroot Guitars. And if you have ever dealt with the good people at Bitterroot Guitars, you know how nice they are, you know how cool they are, and you know how good of the prices that they have are. So the neat thing about this truss rod is it's low priced in the grand scheme of things, especially if you buy like a dozen at a time. Okay, so it satisfies that parameter. It also does a couple things because it's a dual acting truss rod. It does two things. If you turn it this way, you will notice that the rod bends upward, thanks to my cool little demo jig here. If you turn it back around the other way, you'll notice that the rod bends downward, making a kind of a smiley face. So these truss rods, we have used them many, many times. We have never, ever, ever had one of these truss rods fail. We've had some other truss rods fail. We've done videos about these truss rods and trying to break them, and we couldn't. I'm not suggesting that it can't be done, because anything made by a person can, of course, be broken. But these truss rods here represent the best value and the best durability and usability, and it does what it says. It says what it does. They're easy to put in, especially with my new jig. So one of the cool things about this style of rod is that it only needs a flat spot to go in. But you also need to make, let's get my sweet truss rod jig out here again. So you'll notice we have a flat, or we have the length of the truss rod. It widens here at the end for the come on now, for the truss rod adjustment mechanism there. And we also have this extra hole right here. Now, if you haven't been watching my channel for very long, you might not know what this extra hole is. I'm not going to say we did it first, but everybody who came after us did it worst. That's not true. This extra hole right here is a way for you to access the truss rod, and I think it just looks clean, and it looks good whether you have a truss rod cover on the over where the access goes or not. It looks good either way. It looks good on both Fender and Gibson style necks, and it looks especially good on my neck with the 7-degree headstock, which again, I didn't invent, but a lot of you guys know about it because of me. So I'm going to show you guys how this tool works, and like I said, when you're ready to actually buy Matt's Sweet Truss Rod Jig, you'll get a link to a video explaining all the nuances of how it works. But for those of you who are like, I'm on the fence, I want to see this, let me show you how it works. Now, before we deep dive into how this thing works, I want to tell you about some of the tools that you're going to need to make this jig work at its maximum. And that is a router, a plunge router that you can buy at a local home center like Home Depot, and a router bushing setup that you can also get at Home Depot. Now this one happens to be a Porter cable router, and that happens to be a rigid bushing set. That is this is a 3/8 bushing with a 1/4 inch bit in my router, and that's going to be really neat because we're going to be able to make a 1/4 inch pass to fit this 1/4 inch truss rod, and we won't have any bearings or any fences or anything like that. Let me tell you guys, we've been doing this truss rod, like I said, for over a decade now. We've installed it using the fence on the table router. We've used the pin router. We've used the CNC machine. I got to tell you, this is the fastest way to do it right that I've come up with, and it is my new favorite thing. You're going to want one too. All right, let me show you how it works. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see it, but on the jig here, it actually tells you how deep to make each one of these slots. This first one needs to be 0.38 inches deep, and we're spot on now. This section here needs to be 0.48 inches deep. We're going to do that next. We're only going to do the slots that need to be 0.48 inches deep. Okay, so now we can measure and check everything. I'm feeling good there. Feeling good there. It might be a little deeper than I need to be, but I'd much rather have it be that way than the other way, because I want my truss rod to be, I don't want my truss rod to be proud. Let's pull a Matt Sweet truss rod jig off and plop the old rod in here. Look at that. That is just about perfect, guys. It's just underneath the surface of the top of the fretboard, so when we put our fretboard on here, we won't have any interference from the truss rod slot. Okay, the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to drill a hole from the truss rod area to the truss rod wrench access hole so that we can get the truss rod wrench in and actually turn our truss rod. So that is it. Our truss rod is now installed. We can access the truss rod with our wrench from our wrench access hole right here. And this neck, well, it's ready to get the rest of the neck stuff done to it. Now you can do this using Matt Sweet truss rod jig with the neck already profiled, the outside of it, or you can do it this first and then go back and profile it. So if you wanted to do that, you could grab a template like this, and you could plop it on there, you could trace around it, or however you decide to do your, necks. Like I said, you can establish the outside edge of the neck first and put your truss rod slot in, or like I did in this instance, you can just go ahead and put the truss rod slot in and then work the neck all the way around it. So anyway, guys, I'm very proud of Matt's sweet truss rod jig. Now, it's not overly complicated, which is one of the best things about it. It's simple and it works. And truss rods are one of those things that guys put too much energy into saying, I can't have that much wood removed from my neck. Or listen, as long as the truss rod does what it's supposed to do and doesn't rattle around, I don't care if it's got wood packed in on top of it or not. You might be different, and that's okay. That's why they make 31 flavors, right? So, but like I said, I've been using this truss rod setup and this truss rod for over a decade now. We've made hundreds of guitars using this technique, and this jig is far and away my favorite resource for putting truss rod slots in necks. It's the fastest, it's the easiest. If you get a bunch of them together, you can bang them all out really, really quick. So I hope you like this video. If you're interested in Matt's sweet truss rod jig, that is to say, Matt's sweet truss rod jig, you'll find a link in the description below. You can go to Texas Toast Guitars website and buy it right now. You can get it just the jig, and that'll of course come with a complete instructional video. You can get it with a jig and a truss rod, however you want to do it. But these jigs are awesome. I'm very proud of them. These are 9-ply or 7-ply Baltic birch plywood. In the video where we show you how to use them, we'll show you how to protect the jig, keep it looking good, and guys, I'm super, super proud of this. That's why I put my name on it. So if you have any questions that I can answer, I'm not going to tell you guys like just how everything works, because I kind of want to sell these, okay? But if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. If you ask me a question that is like, hey, how exactly does this blah, 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 blah work? I will probably say, if you buy the truss rod, all of your questions will be answered, or something to that effect. But you have to buy the truss rod jig to get all of the how it's done, how it's made, etc., okay? I think that's fair. So guys, if you like this video, give me the thumbs up. If you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do so. And until next time, this is your old buddy Uncle Matt, reminding you that if you're so smart, start your own YouTube channel. That's what I did. We'll see you next time, guys. Have a great week.